Hi-ho, Silver. Away.
Let's be able to do that.
Put your coconuts away. All right, guys, here we are for the conclusion of Season 1 of the Santa Clarita Diet.
We've come
Santa
along.
Clarita?
Santa Clarita.
Oh, my.
We've come a long way.
We have, and,
Our journey's not yet over.
no, there's clearly a second season. Now it's, and if there's
fucking
not,
better be.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I'll be upset.
This ending was disappointing, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to start off by saying right now, I was not fulfilled. It didn't end me with a crazy fun cliffhanger. It did nothing other than nothing. It didn't tell us what the red balls were. It didn't tell us shit. The doctor left. They're like, we don't have bile. It's at least 2 days away, but bitch, I'm out because cops were called. Fuck off. Good luck. You're going to be feral forever.
So shit went to hell.
Yeah.
As you might expect. But, like, this wasn't this... I'm not... This didn't even feel like a mid-season finale.
No, this was like episode 3 disappointment.
What you're supposed to do is to, like, resolve something and...
add a new problem.
Well, like, the cheap way is to, like, resolve the thing and then add a new thing at the last minute.
Yes.
The more nuanced thing is to resolve certain things in a way that's not quite permanently resolved, or maybe have some other, you know, like do a
nothing was
complex
resolved.
thing.
You resolved nothing.
No, you resolved nothing, and there's not even new.
Your situation got slightly worse.
Yeah, I guess he was
slightly
arrested.
worse.
And
well,
they think
she's
he's
arrested.
crazy. She's chained up, right?
Yeah, he's
so
like in a mental
things are
institution, and
whatever,
she's
right, yes.
going feral quickly.
So these are maybe new problems, but it's still just the same. They've been trying to avoid being arrested and becoming a feral, hopeless zombie the whole season. It isn't like these are new problems. It's just shit has gone to shit.
No, this, like, really, come on, man. I expect more from, like, good programs on Netflix. And this is like what? You gave me this, like, second-rate bullshit ending.
I hope they just they know that there's more, and that's fine.
Well, yes, but knowing there's more does not make up for a bad ending.
I know.
Like, this is like what would make me go, yeah, I'll pick up Season 2. Like, if you have a good ending, I'm like, what's happening in Season 2? Come on, kids. And I was like, what the fuck is that?
Because you can make the last episode really satisfying without permanently ending it and having there no more chance of a story.
Sure.
That's easy.
Like, a good ending here would have been they cure the wife. They give her the cure.
Yeah.
The doctor somehow dies. And that time she bit the husband's lip,
the nibbles.
He's now got turned,
yes.
and the next season he's a zombie.
Right, something like that.
That's an ending,
right.
And you'd get to see the other side of it, and she would legitimately turn back to human, so she would be fully rational,
version, right.
And she'd be like, "Oh God, why are you doing? Like, you did it. Shit, I do it if I want. Aha!"
Right.
And he's like a drug dealer now because that's what his inner ambition is.
Playing guitar.
Yeah, you're welcome, Netflix fucking bastards.
All right, let's tackle the things.
So what did happen?
So it begins with a stock footage documentary produced by Eric.
Yeah, to give us up to speed what
Dr.
happened
Wolf.
without having to, he was the exposition man through documentary.
Well, and again, it's self-aware and kind of funny because Drew Barrymore starts saying, "We already researched Dr. Wolf. This is very unnecessarily awesome. Thank you for that." And it's funny in its own way.
It was just for us, the audience.
Yeah, but it's also this acknowledgement of like, why would you only be finding out now these things about her? You wouldn't. Oh, that's fine. You made a reference to it or whatever. So there's a case in West Virginia. Someone murdered and ate their whole family, and that's when
she discovered this virus.
Yeah, got involved and started down the trail of being a virologist and all that.
Yeah, and she owns her own company and fucking shit.
And they start the thing of, what if you needed to kill me? How would you do it? And they go through this whole thing.
And this is a dumb question because, like, A, you're not really thinking about this. And he's like, a bat? And she's like, oh, my God, you're a monster.
Well, so it started out being the same joke that it always is. Of like, honey, just be honest with me, okay? I just want to know, like, what's your opinion? Do you think this makes me look fat? And then it's like this horrible trap question. It was that, but it's funny because it's the thing. And I thought that that's all it was, and I was very unhappy with it. But we'll skip. Later they end up in like a fight, which gets physical, and he's holding a big stick like it's
like
a
a
bat.
big walking stick.
And they pay off this stupid thing because she will not let it go. She just keeps saying, "Yep, that's my man, Slugger over there."
Yeah.
She keeps fucking bringing things up and I'll just have my sister kill me. And he's like, "Oh, come on, she'll probably be late to kill you, and then she'll want money again, or with those nails, she can't even grab anything, right? Like a bat." All these like fucking things where it's just like, God, woman, just let me live.
Nah, they never let it die.
But they paid it off in that way.
Pun intended.
Yes. I'm sorry. But like to pay it off like that, I thought was really cool and kind of made it like
her face and him like, and it kind of like temporarily drops the fight.
well, and that's what like diffuses the fight. That's what makes him come around, and he says like, no, it's this, it's that, it's not this, it is that, because this is not going to happen, and like throws it down. You're like, okay, fuck, another little good thing, whatever.
And you kind of see like the light at the end of the tunnel for him is shattered, because he's like, okay, so you're never going to be 100% healed. This cure just stops you from getting worse. I was only able to make it this far knowing that one day we'd be normal again and go on a vacation and celebrate and have a life. Yeah. But now at this, forever, I got to kill people forever?
Right. And that was the whole, so that's the other bombshell here, is that the doctor at some point has been like, because he says something like, I'm not going to miss that. And she's like, what are you talking about? You'll still have to do that. And he's like, what? And it's like, well, this just stops the shit from falling off. I mean, she's still going to need the flesh of the thing to be alive or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And that's honestly in all these things that cure stuff, unless it is a magical curse. And I'm talking to you, iZombie.
Yeah.
When the human physiology changes in a way where things that need to happen stop happening, and like you die or whatever the fuck, a magical cure is not going to bring dead flesh back to life.
Well, a magical cure would. A
know
regular cure wouldn't. Yes, I understand.
I should have said a cure will not magically bring it back to life.
Correct.
Just because you're killing the virus that's somehow allowing you to be alive with your heart not beating anymore has been killed, you're just a corpse at that point. It's not going to somehow undo all those changes. So I'm like, okay, I actually like that. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's a great setup for that fight, and his like reveal of like, well, fuck, like you were just saying, that was the light at the end of the tunnel. Now it's been cut off, and we got to plan our new lives with this constant drumbeat of murder as the
We can't
soundtrack.
go to Hawaii because I still have to hunt people, so every fucking vacation's a working vacation. Well, honey, with the invention of cell phones, every vacation's a working vacation. Ah!
I really liked that line a lot. That was really funny because I've, we've gone and done stuff where with my job the way it is now, it's like, well, I have to bring my laptop and I have to check my email, whatever the fuck. So that's the funny little stupid, like, oh, it's the world, modern world, whatever. So Dr. Wolf is like autistic, basically.
Yeah,
which is
I
funny.
believe that's Ellen's wife, Portia something, Portia deGrassi or Portia
that's
something.
who you meant by that. Okay, because you were like, oh, it's the Portia. I'm like, I have no idea this, but she looks really familiar. I just didn't.
Arrested Development.
I can't place her. I never watched that.
Well, it's a show she was on.
Yeah. I'm a bad person. The thing with the sex and she's nibbling on him.
Yeah, she's slowly turning more feral and like, everything alive is food.
We said out loud like, uh-oh, because she nibbled on
It looked like
Loki.
she bit his lip.
Yes, I thought I saw blood there.
I thought there was blood in his lip.
Yes.
And maybe there is. That could be a thing for next season. Who knows?
Maybe they planted this for us. Who knows? But shit, that was like, we said out loud, uh-oh, because we thought this is her infecting him, but there's a cure on the way, but this will be that thing like you were just saying, where now one person gets cured, or we couldn't cure the person we wanted to cure because we have to cure someone else for some other reason, like that sort of math we do, but no payoff there per se. They just used her nibbling as like a sign of her going more far.
Yeah. And I thought very strongly for a moment, I'm like, oh, she's biting his finger off. This is going to be a turning point because, Netflix shows can get dark, and that could be that point.
Right.
But it didn't happen. She just bit him, and it hurt.
And she could have just quickly bit the finger mostly off. They have, like, a doctor scientist in the house.
Yeah.
So it might have even been, like, not the end of the world if she, like...
No.
I got my hand slammed in a car door when I was a kid, and they were able to redo some of the stuff mostly. So it's not the end of the world. I can still play guitar. Whatever. But, damn. So we'll see if that pays off. I really wanted to. A lot of this episode was dominated by the Baka.
Yeah, so they need the bile of a native Serbian, 100% pure blood.
Pure blood Serbian.
And the Baka, the grandma of the principal, is just that. And they need that vomit. So they go over there with some booze, and they try to drink her up, and they bring a bucket. Look, a bucket, because she loved the box so much.
She would naturally love
a bucket, and they're going to take it back with her vomit in it, obviously.
Yes.
But they couldn't get her to vomit.
Right, she never vomited.
They destroyed her house, though, with a nice fight.
They had the fight there that we talked about was set there. A lot of that stuff with the bat and the argument and the honey and the working vacation. All that happened there. That's what it was all centered around. The principal, we think, definitely must have called the cops.
Or just the neighbors from the smashing and the yelling.
All the fucking crazy shit happening there.
Sure.
Yeah, and Baka never vomits, which would have just been awkward anyway because what are you going to do with that
I thought
vomit?
she was going to throw up right when he was like about to be cuffed, where it would be like, oh, now you do it.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Baka. Hello, nice man. And just do the whole
Nice
thing.
man with box who
Yeah.
destroy house.
I don't like China anyway. Yeah, she was like a lot of cheap shots at like the Dangle character was pretty funny. He's getting shat on left and right. I dig it. Yeah, a lot of the stuff happened there. They need the Serbian. Like, I really like the explanation because it's like, oh, do you also need the whiskers of an Irishman or whatever?
Yeah.
And she's like, they developed a resistance to the virus by living in proximity to the whatever, and their bile would have that. And she's like,
That
oh,
makes sense.
I'm like, fuck. I like when things can make a little bit of sense.
You think it would need to be more than just a full-blooded Serbian? Like, you think it needs to be Serbian from that area or something? But
literally with a bloodline that goes back to those people. Exactly. Well, I was like, why? What's in fingernails? They're made of this. We need because of that. What? That's just magic now. What are you doing?
We need magic.
We need magic things. Okay, drinking, or your food's too oily. You resent me. Bash head in. Tased.
He's running through his checklist. So Timothy Oliphant gets tased and taken to the mental institution from that house. He lets Drew Barrymore escape because he's like, you freaked out on me for some light bullshit. Do you think you're not gonna like just kill these cops?
Right,
which is good point.
This is gonna be a confrontation. We can't have you here in the middle of this shit.
On her way home, she picks up some chains and she instructs the daughter, like, chain me up in the basement because fuck. Which will make season 2 all the more interesting if he's locked up and she's locked up, because now the daughter and the kid have to kill someone for her.
It turns into Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Kinda.
This is fabulous. This has potential. I'm not saying this is the end of the world, but this to have this be the last episode.
It's certainly not the end of the world. It's just that this is the last episode. It didn't have anything an episode usually ending a season is. There were no big draw moments. It was like nothing.
I think they think that this will leave us wanting more, and on some level it has.
I want more. Having a half an hour show is just a treat at this point. But
I think our experience, or the world's experience with shows like The Walking Dead, has left me with a really sour taste for being like manipulated or something like that.
Sure.
And that's part of why I'm reacting so strongly to this sort of horseshit. Whereas I think this might have been just like how things work in like another time and place or whatever.
This was bullshit to me.
But, so the doctor leaves, Joel's arrested, Joel's talking to a psychiatrist, and that kind of narrates our, like, summing up of the end. We've already sort of covered where everybody's at. Mommy is in the basement. The last line is like, oh, tomorrow's no good, maybe next week, because she's chained up talking about house listings, and Joel has...
Well, because she's still optimistic that, she'll get a cure, and he'll get out of, his mental jail.
Yeah, I mean, for the sort of crimes that he's literally having committed, I think that, there's an arraignment, and then he posts bail, and he knows that cop, and I think
the only issues that could hit him, which, if they want to pull these things in, is, like, he already talked to one psychiatrist who thought he was crazy, and now this second episode, and just what he's saying, and I could see that, oh, no, you had Patton Oswalt came over there and said, he's a fucking nut job, we got to commit him.
Yeah, I was going to say.
If they want to play that card.
Well,
or it could be the next episode starts, he's already out, and it's like, just observation.
I hope that they've left things this way to have some leeway depending on how they
what they want to
write.
Exactly.
Because I was gonna say, like, he's not so much arrested as he is, like, detained psychiatrically, right? So it has a different
Which
vibe.
I think is worse, because you can only detain someone for like jail for so long without pressing charges or this or that or whatever.
Yeah. I don't think he's literally said, my wife died, needs people, though.
No, never.
So
never.
We haven't actually gotten to the weird point yet.
He tied up a woman and was trying to get her vomit, I think, is enough to be like, he's insane.
Yeah. No, and like the minute the cops walked in, he was like, I just need your vomit, come on! And I was like, well, okay, this is going to be him crazy again, because they already planted that seed in the very beginning. Last thing, enjoyed, just because of how far they took it, Abby's convulsing.
Yes, so... But I thought that was a completely weird and unnecessary thing, I think. They have they're doing the medication for the mother, and they're like, well, it might cause convulsions. Oh, with her condition, she might just convulse forever. And just she grabs it and takes it and shoots it into her arm, and then does like 9 fake outs, like, oh, I'm just kidding, and then like falls to the ground, I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding.
Including her eyes rolling back into her head and falling
onto her head,
plank straight back. Oh, man. And then he even says, your commitment is outstanding.
Yeah, and it was.
Like, come on, bro. Yeah. No, it was great, because we,
even the doctor's like, motherfucker.
Who, like, was not cursing before. Yeah. Fucking, like, because you expect the fake out, and she even plays into our expectations by saying, oh my god, doctor, oh god, like, this is real or something, what's happening or something like that, to make some of them seem different or something.
Abby, what?
She's like, again, I'm kidding.
You
Listen.
guys are easy.
Right.
And then goes right into a convulsion again. You think like, oh, now she's really got it.
Yes.
Nope, I'm joking.
And it was never real.
Just joshing.
Which is
No,
fucking
she was
great.
fine. Yeah.
I always hate, though, in things whenever anyone's like, test it on me then, or something like that. Because I'm always like, even if, like, a lot of
You
things...
are not her, and she suffers from a virus you don't suffer from.
Yes, and, like, there are certain things where it's like, oh, that's full of this, which has no effect on her because she's dead, but it will just kill you. Yes,
Yeah.
she might convulse for other reasons, but oh my god, and this
The
happens.
cure to something
a
you don't
million
have
times.
could certainly be poison.
Happens all the time. Not good. Some cures just are poison. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And-
That's just hemlock, young lady. You're a moron. Oh, she's
God.
dead. We have to
These-
pump her blood.
These ancient Serbian herbs or something like that.
Yeah.
I wonder if her having injected herself will come in handy later, where it's like we don't have that thing anymore. Oh,
Use
but
my blood.
but it's in Abby's bloodstream
Yeah.
still,
Or
like,
she gets bit and it doesn't affect her,
or
or
she
something.
gets
Yeah.
infected. We should say, but before that, we saw the return of Ramona at the Rite Aid.
Yes, was very
Which was
happy
fucking
about
great.
that. And she's like a Buddhist monk or something.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't quite see it before. Was she even doing it before? But she totally just.
It's just the way
Those
her like
simplistic-
stonery answers can be taken as very existential.
Yes, and I think that they're not, but they are taken.
No,
'cause-
yeah, I
'cause-
see things people don't see. This belongs in aisle 5.
Like this shit is,
Like-
is in the wrong section. Yeah, because like Joel was there needing help, and again, kind of like a Walt from Breaking Bad,
Sure.
where he's in this weird place in his life and all that shit, and then she would say stuff, and he'd be like, "You know what? You're right. I should do that." And she's like, "What? Please leave." And he's like, "Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. I'm leaving. I'm going to find a thing." And now Abby was in the same situation, that's fucking great. She's like, no, everyone else has something exciting to do. I don't have anything exciting to do. And she's like,
Is
is
that
excitement important? And she's like, oh my god, you're right. Maybe it's not, and all that stuff. That kind of shit's real and amazing
Sure.
in life, and I love that happens. And I hope that Ramona makes.
No, I
a
think she'll
repeat
be back.
appearance.
This will be her big break.
Because that'd be like, I wonder why they'd have her here just to never have her again. But
I think there was an
fucking
outcry of like, why we need to put more of her in there? How come there's not more of
why
her
is
in
there
there?
no Ramona?
Yeah.
Last thing, if we want to talk about a last thing.
Sure.
Really, really, really appreciated when, Sheila reacts negatively to the video that Eric made, and he says, well, Kanye says never to apologize for your creative choices, although I do wish I'd done something different there. And I was like, that's great. That's
Yeah.
fucking great.
No,
Nothing
he's
Kanye.
a shining star in this show. That dude. The men in general. I like Timothy.
Sexist.
and- no,
Sexist
it's that.
bastard.
It's that.
What are you mansplaining me now? How you only like the men?
I am. Well, no,
Okay.
I don't only like the men. It's
I'm
just
kidding.
they're sexier. No, it's
You handsome, thick-haired son of a bitch.
I think it's mainly that like Drew's
Yeah.
character drags it down because the daughter is delightful.
I was just gonna say I like Abby a lot. So
She's
if
great,
we're
and
gonna-
she
we're gonna pan
may
Abby-
have been the strongest one in this episode just because of
Okay.
that fake out seizure
convulsive
bit.
stuff,
Yeah. The doctor was like a little off and weird, but I guess that's
Mm.
doctor mannerisms. Like you're trying to be this like disassociated. What's that disease?
Autistic.
Yeah, like autistic.
I wrote in my notes like Dr. Wolf, autistic, but
Yeah.
guacamole. That's my fucking. No, I see what like. We do this a lot when like we're watching things, usually bad things.
Sure.
Where I go like that was fine, you're like that was horse shit, and then I'm like, well, was I even watching it, or did I just get an idea of like, okay, I see what they're going for, and then I stopped paying attention, and then in my head I just translated everything into what it should actually be.
Yeah.
'Cause
We're all guilty of making things
Yeah.
better in our mind.
like you totally see what they're going for, with that character, and I think I just let them, present me an uncompleted puzzle, and in my head I just put it together to make it. I don't think a lot of it landed.
She wasn't
great.
unwatchable. I just think
No,
that it
wasn't
could have
bad
been
at
better.
all.
There was no need for that person to be that person. Like you could have been.
Well, because you gave her all these personality traits that were going to have like a reason to be there, and then it really didn't even like because it opens with like, is this standard hugging procedure? I don't really hug. Is this? No. Okay. And like that was, oh, she's going to be this goofy eccentric
but she didn't do
person.
that
And
anymore.
she didn't really do
Yeah.
that too much, right?
Eh.
So you could have just left all that out and had her just been a
Exactly.
doctor.
She could have just been
Whatever.
straight. She could have been like just a total like paper person, where like everything she said was like robotic, and that would have been better. But because
Yeah.
she went with the like I'm like the female Sheldon almost from Big Bang, but I'm not as good.
Or I'm like Bones Lady from Bones.
Yeah.
Dr. Bones Lady.
Dr.
Yeah,
James Bonesenham.
I don't know. Like that's being overly critical. I don't know if this character's even coming back or what's going to happen.
I think she'll
here.
have to come back.
Just for the
They
cure,
have her
right?
book. She needs to get it back.
I need this back.
You can't mail that. It's so big.
Oh, it's delightful.
Yeah. But, just to conclude this episode, you know, this episode, personally, for me, would get like a thumbs down. But the series, I give a thumbs up.
No, I want to know what happens. I grew to like a lot of these characters. I think Timothy Oliphant and a lot of the characters we've talked about are really, really great. And the worst of the characters is not bad enough even.
Yeah. The worst of the characters only even looks bad because the best characters are so good.
Right.
And if that's your biggest problem in a show, you really don't have that big of a problem.
Pretty
the show
much.
was fine, and the fact that it's half an hour, it's a bite-sized thing. You can it's digestible. There's never anything where I'm like, oh God, it's so slow, or oh, I'm dragging through this, or why'd you do that? Like, come on. No, it's very nice because you don't really get these half-hour shows anymore.
And I think that they were smart by not introducing a lot of extra characters or going too crazy.
Bare-boned it.
We're not doing anything weird with like making the scope way too big. It's still just about these people.
Yeah.
What can I say? I liked it.
I don't know if you ever had a scene where the main character wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Like often, and not even just like shows have like the secondary characters that get their whole arcs, but there was never even like, I don't think, a scene that they weren't in except for like little throwaways like the doctor in her lab or the blah blah.
We set up the doctor.
But in general, it was almost exclusively main characters, which is nice too.
No, because we talk about this a lot where there's a show that's punching way above its, division or whatever, where it's like, why are we dealing with the whole world and we're traveling and they're leaving and coming back and you're introducing a thing and then going, I don't know, fuck, and then getting rid of it and like, holy shit, just like take your core characters and make a thing about them, and then if that gets boring, maybe do something. But
this show had no reaches. There was no like, you're supposed to be doing a bank robbery, but clearly you're in your uncle's friend's house. Like, this was all good set design. Everything was fine.
Because once Loki was going to be a zombie too, I was like, uh-oh, now everyone's going to be turning and unturning, and are you that, or you? But they just like had that have a purpose, and they used it to grow the relationship between Joel and Sheila, and then they got rid of him, and like, okay, right? Like, good show. I like it.
Yeah, guys, so check it out. If you've got this far and haven't seen the show,
that's just
skip
weird.
it, I guess.
What's wrong with you?
At
that point,
assuming you've watched it and experienced this journey with us, I would recommend this to other people. I think this is a pretty good show.
Yeah, I think we'll be
10 episodes. It only takes like 5 hours to watch the whole show.
Yeah.
So
and when more comes
easily
out,
bingeable.
I think I can say that we will be watching it when more comes out.
Most definitely. So until next time, guys, don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.